So one of our favorite subjects here at
Studio
A, I guess you'd call it.
There you go.
Studio A at Vanilla Thunder Productions is TNA Wrestling, Impact Wrestling. I'm not even really sure what they call themselves.
You know what?
Obviously, that's because
it's
one of our favorites.
Because I'm a like wannabe smarky asshole dickwad. You know what I love? I love TNA.
For me, TNA is like the college kid that insists you listen to his Fish album. Like, you're a fan of TNA. You're in other people's faces insisting they check this out, and then they check it out and go,
"What the
fuck? How high do I have to be to start figuring this shit out?"
My question is, I mean this in no respect. My comment about the asshole douchebaggery aside, I apologize for that offended you.
I don't apologize for my Fish comment.
But I would love to know, what quality product do you think you're getting? Like, where is the leap?
Where do you think you're getting an equal and better alternative to everything else that's out there? That's what I don't understand. How do you honestly feel like, in every... Break it down by category. In-ring talent. Third. They're third of the three national companies.
TNA?
Yeah. I think they're third.
Their talent has always been fine. Their talent's never been their problem. They have the Guns, they have Styles, they have Daniels, they have Joe, for God's sake.
But they also have
the fuck knows you don't use him.
Gunner, Murphy, Rob Terry,
Crimson.
Crimson.
Did you know that Crimson originally came into TNA under the gimmick of being Amazing Red's little brother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually knew that, and it made me even less interested to find out anything about that guy.
No, no follow-up since Red has been fired or has quit TNA. No follow-up to that storyline.
No, let's abandon that. Yeah, it's just okay. Talent-wise, they have some of the top people in the business, but I penalize them for how poorly they use the top talent and how horribly poorly they use the rest of the talent.
They also have some of the crappiest people in the business.
Well, they have the Scott Steiners of the world who still have matches, and Jeff Jarrett's still trying to main event, and
Sting, God bless him, is
good
still
Lord, and they won't just tell Jeff Hardy to go fuck himself.
Although Matt, fortunately, has
fucked himself.
Totally fucked himself.
Thanks, Matt. You did TNA a favor. You pretty much forced them to tell you to go home.
I'm sure we'll bring this up again in the PWI 500 video that we're going to do. But, we'd always do the bracket, and I was doing my pretend bracket, and I actually had Jeff Hardy lose in the first round to Adam Pearce.
Yeah! I love Adam Pearce.
That's how little respect I have for Jeff Hardy right now.
Scrap iron. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, the NWA champion. Maybe he just won it again. I understand.
Yeah.
But,
oh my God.
It's ridiculous.
It's a giant misuse of talent. That's the first thing that comes to mind when I think of TNA. But
totally. Where the fuck is Samoa Joe?
Destination X was supposed to be this, we're going to give you exactly what you want. Which, by the way, is what they had done a year and a month earlier with
Turning Point, right?
And Hardcore Justice became, or Hard Justice became Hardcore Justice. We're going to give you what you want. And they did an ECW-style pay-per-view with a bunch of people with one of your all-time favorite pay-per-views for all of the wrong fucking reasons.
It was so much fun to talk about.
So every 6 months or so, TNA's like, we know what you really want. We're going to give it to you. And then the very next night, it's like it didn't even happen.
Well, the problem with that whole thing was that it was like, we're going to give you this. Apparently, it was a really good show.
Yeah, that's what everybody's saying.
But then, some guy named Phil Brooks or something did something interesting.
Phil. I know his name's Phil.
Yeah. Did some kind of promo on Raw and got everybody's attention. So.
And I honestly, I don't feel like there is any correlation between the WWE doing things and TNA doing things, because I really do feel like WWE does not see TNA on their radar. They honestly operate as if it's not their problem.
When I hear people say, I don't know if you've heard about what happened recently with the Kurt Angle turn.
He turned heel, correct?
He turned heel, but did you hear about his explanation?
No.
From what I understand, I didn't actually see it. From what I understand, you would have needed like a 5-page briefing to comprehend it. Because, keep in mind, in doing what he's doing, he is aligning himself with Jeff Jarrett.
Which makes no fucking sense.
And Karen Angle. Karen Jarrett, my apologies. You know,
whatever.
Aligning himself with them because Dixie Carter is worse. Dixie Carter, who is really no longer an on-screen character because Hulk Hogan already kicked her out or something. It's just utterly confusing. And I was reading about this, and I see the TNA diehards comment on it, and on Facebook or whatever, and say things like, why are you complaining so much about what WWE does, or about what TNA does? Because WWE does the same thing, random heel turns and screwy main events and all that. And my response is this: first of all, yes, WWE does do all those things better.
That should be right there.
Second of all, my hands over here. Peace. Second of all, you need to not be like that. You need to not do what they do. That's the whole point. People who want to watch what WWE does will watch them because, as previously mentioned, I believe I just said it, they do it better. And with better production values. They have more money.
TNA got to where they became relevant by not doing what WWE did. And then what did they do? Actively pursue anybody with anything WWE on their resume, push them to the forefront, and act like they could do WWE better than WWE. And Vince McMahon, from his own grave, would continue to outdo anybody at his own game. So,
you notice when CM Punk was doing his all awesome promo and shit, you notice who he didn't mention? Ring of Honor came up.
Whoops! Right.
Colt Cabana came up.
He
Brock
easily
Lesnar and Paul Heyman, and
he could have easily brought up how he had phone conversations with TNA. He could have brought up Samoa Joe.
He just mentioned that other company.
He did mention Cena made the Hogan reference.
Yeah.
But Hogan's kind of an anomaly in the whole thing because he exists in every wrestling world.
But what you don't understand, what TNA fans and TNA themselves, barring the talent who stay there for, I'm sure, their own reasons. But there
are positives to the company, like they stay in one place, so you don't have to travel as much, and they'll put you on screen just as often as if you were on the road 4 weeks a month.
All the drugs you want,
apparently.
And let me tell you, Jeff's got some good shit, and Van Damme's is even better. I'm sure. Not to mention Kurt and fucking
Jeff Jarrett,
Anderson. But you don't understand that you're a joke. You're the laughingstock of the wrestling world. Everybody makes fun of you.
You picked up where WCW left off.
In the same direction.
You're not even picking it up and trying to go somewhere else. Once you reach the level of being considered a number 2, which is blasphemy as far as I'm concerned. It's like when ECW
Maybe in 2005.
It's like when ECW people wanted to say they were equal to WCW. That never actually happened. Now, quality aside, quality is always, from a business perspective, you were a distant 3. TNA is a distant 2. But
in business, in quality, they're a distant 5.
I would rather watch, Ohio wrestling on Fox Sports Ohio.
I'd rather watch the Mexican stuff on the Telemundo channel.
I don't know what they're saying. I don't need to. I can figure it out. It makes more sense to me in Spanish than it does coming out of the mouth of Mike Tenay with Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan running the show.
Pretty sure I'd rather watch Chikara, and Chikara sucks.
The thing I'm drawing from this is TNA picked up the ball where I just finished watching the WCW Best of Nitro set, and the end of WCW, especially Nitro, was horrid. And they picked up where that left off. They have now ascended to where they are equal to what WCW was when it was time to close its doors. And
that's what you
the
spent
sad part is TNA is probably at their
that's
peak.
What you spent the last few years doing is building up to WCW's lowest moments.
They're bouncing
make
off
you feel
of
good?
the glass ceiling created by Vince Russo,
and you're doing it by using WCW's old stars.
And they're old stories.
Anymore.
They're old fucking storylines. On top of it, it's where are you going? You know,
I read recently was about Jerry Jarrett talking shit about TNA and being like, I told my son when he brought Russo in that he was an idiot or something.
Well, if you go back and watch the Nitro shit, Jarrett benefited from Russo greatly.
Mm-hmm.
But that aside, TNA is, they're bouncing off the glass ceiling of another company, a previous company's failure, is where they're at. And what I was going to say was, WWE is acting completely independent of whatever TNA does, which is the opposite of how TNA is reacting. They want to react in almost entirely on whatever WWE is doing to try to draw attention away. But what it's really doing is reminding everybody that there's an alternative and that you're inferior. You are the Pepsi to the Coke. You know, there's a reason why you don't bring up the other company, and the WWE has figured this out, and
years
to the point where they could actually mention tiny companies and have no impact on themselves by doing so. They did it with ECW when they had the invasion. They brought up other companies. Didn't hurt them one bit. TNA is so caught up in trying to go head-to-head, and each time that TNA has tried to create some sort of a turning point, they've been hit with a WWE roadblock. When they went live, head-to-head, with Raw,
that was brutal.
Vince McMahon says, hey, guess who I'm friends with again? Bret Hart. And we sat there going, wow, we actually need to watch both. And I don't think that was in any way related to TNA.
But you remember the YouTube video with the new Monday Night War, the 4 minutes,
the parody of
and then I love the image of Mike Tenay going, now, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. TNA Wrestling has listened to the audience. We're going back to Thursday nights.
You're a winner.
Because you wanted to do that.
Exactly. And then bam, Destination X, they're trying to create some buzz. They're making some changes all around the card.
You do that every
CM Punk decides he's in charge of things.
A few times a year TNA puts on a great wrestling show. And that's fantastic.
Last year it was Whole Effing Show.
I have Whole Effing Show on DVD.
Fantastic show.
But you know what? It doesn't take. It doesn't last. Do they even still do Reaction? I don't even know. But I remember that was the first night of Reaction. But I mean, that was a great idea. That was a whole concept. What was an extra hour program?
It was an extra hour
fucking talking. And if you were going to spend the first 2 hours just wrestling, that might be okay. But
honestly, I feel like, and if I'm speaking completely with no knowledge of any of the inner workings of the company. Sorry, Eric Bischoff, but I am still allowed to have an opinion despite not having your knowledge of what's going on.
No, we don't know.
I think that third hour was the only way TNA was going to convince the network to give them a third hour. Because quite honestly, I think they wanted a third hour like Nitro used to have. And the network wasn't going to give it to them. So they came up with this off-the-wall concept. Let's mix reality show with our wrestling stars. And let's develop our stories with a whole hour just devoted to talking.
But the thing is that you guys...
That was the only way they were going to get that extra hour out of the network.
I've recently said this on Facebook about TNA.
You had your angry rant.
Mm-hmm.
It was very colorful.
There's one thing. I thank you. And I would call on TNA to rise to the occasion and do the one thing that you can do to improve the wrestling industry right now. Which is go away.
Just close up shop.
Just stop.
If you canceled a couple tour dates, just to start, just cancel a couple of house shows and tour dates. Would anyone notice? No.
I don't think anyone would.
Half your wrestlers go to Mexico to earn a paycheck anyway.
Yeah.
So would that cost anybody any money? Not really. Just start there. Just stop doing house shows. Just kind of reverse. Don't even put out an announcement. Just kind of stop scheduling them.
Inform your
let's help them figure out how to close their doors.
Well, no, I think you should inform your talent that unfortunately, you're going to have to break all of their contracts, and of course you'll have to pay them.
No.
To break all their contracts.
You have to break their contracts.
Yes, you do. You have to break their contracts, right? Because they have to go away now. Okay, you don't have to understand.
There's no time.
Yeah, no.
There's no time.
Time is running out.
The clock is running. You're down 3 with the ball. You need to do something.
They're probably going to pay them a lot of money for the broken contracts. Paying all that money for all the contracts will leave them bankrupt, which is a phenomenal excuse to go out of business.
I can't wait for Don West's bankruptcy sale on TNAWrestling.com.
And then
it's all going down!
And then the talent can diffuse, and some of them can get called up to WWE, where they'll be misused, but at least, it'll be done better.
Or transferred to the equally, the show that's just as good, but just needs a couple bucks in Ring of Honor. Yeah. Half your talent came from Ring of Honor, so as far as I'm concerned, they're better off there anyway.
Sure.
Just ask Nigel McGuinness.
Seriously.
They're better off moving, which, on the ladder, Ring of Honor's down. But in terms of prestige, respect, and potential, Ring of Honor's up. Up!
As far as letting you wrestle,
Rob Van Dam is doing better by his career moving to Ring of Honor than he would do staying in TNA. Kurt Angle would win over so many people if he spent a month in Ring of Honor and quit TNA.
People would watch ROH TV show if they had Kurt Angle. I guarantee you that.
Well, TNA thought people will watch our show if we have Kurt Angle,
and they did,
and they squashed it.
Yeah, well,
they crapped all over their own awesomeness.
No, that's the thing. That's the thing I really, really hate about TNA. That's the thing I hate so much that it makes me just wanna murder someone. Really, preferably like someone named Eric or Terry or Vince. I don't know. These are all just complete hypotheticals. I'm not mentioning any surnames here, and they have no connections to any real persons living or dead. But what I really hate is the fact that, man, you remember 2005, 2006? You remember loving TNA?
Mm-hmm.
God damn, we loved TNA. It was awesome.
Remember when we ordered Bound for Glory?
Oh, yeah, it was amazing.
That was great.
Angle and Joe for the first time. We were so fucking stoked.
We're like, they're giving us what we want right away. Yay!
And you know what you gone and did? You spat in our fucking face for it. Okay? All the people who supported you and helped you become the company by putting
all
money
the normal
into your
people
product.
With reasonable brains and the ability to think and decipher on their own without being told what to do.
If it's like me lending my friend money so he can get back on his feet, and we're doing this really great venture, and I'm really proud of him. He's doing a really great thing, and then he comes over to pay me back the money, and instead of giving it back to me, he kicks me in the nuts and runs. That's what it felt like.
But keeps calling me to tell me I can pick up my money. That's what TNA kicked you in the nuts, and they're telling you where you're at and where you can find them to pick up your 20s.
Yeah, why don't you come over, man? I got it right here.
I'm outside your door right now.
You know what? Every time we go over, every time we do it, we get kicked in the nuts again.
Sometimes you even give us a 20, and we're like, all right, we're close to getting our 200 back. And then you kick me in the nuts again. You kick me right in the nuts.
And take the 20.
And you take the 20 back. Or you take 20 and then some back. And you tell me, if you just meet me next week, I'll give you the whole thing. And we meet you next week, and you pee on us, kick us in the nuts, throw a 20 our way, and then run away, and then ask for the 20 back the next
time. It's too hard, you guys. I can't deal with your crap product anymore. I mean, I haven't been able to deal with your crap product for years. I hate that you have a crap product because it used to be so awesome. And the fact that it sucks so hard right now is just like a stabbing pain in my gut.
What we're saying here, aside from the fact that TNA needs to go away,
fuck you,
is TNA is supposed to be serving a purpose. And they carry with them a need in the professional wrestling business to create competition and to create interest and to create alternatives, not just for fans and TV viewers, but for the industry, for the people in the industry, in the business, the people in the ring. And they're failing at it at such a glorious rate.
I mean,
that they are letting everyone down, including the business itself. They're not losing to WWE. Yes, of course they're behind. But they're losing to the business of wrestling.
Yeah.
They're letting down a craft that has been so perfectly established by everything before them. They are taking it for granted and crapping all over it and telling you like it and explaining to you why it's cool and making you watch it week after week. And for the people who really buy into that...
WWE even does that better.
The people who really feel like TNA is the alternative and it's better and they do things right, they are turning their backs on what has made this industry great. And they are disgracing the business of wrestling. I'm sorry, but if you're a TNA fan and you hate the WWE and you refuse to respect what else is going on in wrestling because you honestly feel like TNA is doing it right, you are a disgrace to the wrestling industry.
You're not a true wrestling fan. You're really not. I mean, and
you're a Raiders fan. You are an Oakland Raiders fan. You are completely
oblivious. Whoa. Let's not go that far.
I didn't call them Kansas City Chief fans.
No swearing. Stop. We don't need to hear that kind of language. You need to hear the CH word. But no, it's okay. A guy like AJ Styles, no, if he goes to WWE, no, he's probably not going to be pushed as a world champion that he should be. So, you know what he could really use? Like an alternative wrestling company operating on a somewhat smaller level that'd be willing to do great things with him. He could use that place, but you're not giving that to him. You've turned yourself into a place where Jeff Jarrett can air his personal business on television.
Well, I mean, temperature of the business. What has Ring of Honor done for Eddie Edwards? He's number 9 in the PWI 500. He's relevant in the world of wrestling. What has TNA done for AJ Styles since he was number 1 last year?
24.
They made him completely irrelevant. They actually could have taken some momentum from industry insiders and people who care for the business and used that to their advantage. And instead, they squashed it. They didn't push Styles as their option, their alternative, their star. They pushed him as below Jeff Jarrett on the rung of importance. And that
below Jarrett, below Flair, below Angle, below Sting.
Below fucking Gunner.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't like Gunner and Murphy. I don't
realize that Gunner and Murphy were pushed over Joe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then Crimson was then pushed over Joe.
How many fucking times are they going to let Matt Morgan win matches? And Hernandez. I'm sorry. I actually liked Hernandez. And for a time, I got into the Matt Morgan thing. But you jerked me around too much, and now I don't want them to succeed. I would rather watch Mark Henry.
How many times are you going to bring in multiple offender drug addicts and ask that they show up on time and work main event matches? That's my question for you.
Yeah, how many times are you going to put my $25, $30 on the line so that you can ask Jeff Hardy to not be drunk for 5 minutes?
To be fair, I think I would have paid that to actually watch Sting pin him
to live. Physically manhandle him live.
That was funny.
A 50-year-old man physically manhandling somebody. That's better than UFC right there.
No, seriously. But no, it's like the people that hired Scott Hall 4 times, put him in the main event. The people who hired Hogan and Savage to be in the same damn building when those two guys literally wanted to choke each other out.
Why do you do this?
When
Sean Waltman,
Van Dam, Angle, Kennedy, Anderson, drug addicts. That's why they don't work for Booker T before he went back. That's why they went back. That's why they were there.
Oh, I failed that drug policy. I better go find other employment for a while.
Matt Bentley
I'm going to go to Florida.
Was interviewed after they let him go. And TNA was saying, yeah, we have a drug policy. Matt Bentley went to interview. He's like, I never took a test. They never drug tested me. As far as I know, they never drug tested anyone else.
And I read the transcript. They testified under oath in front of the U.S. government. in regards to this issue.
Yep.
And they claim that they have... Basically, they claim they have the policy WWE claimed to have 10, 15 years ago, wherein we'll test you if it looks like something's wrong. Come on, seriously? You don't see what's wrong? I applaud you guys for telling the Hardys that you need to go to rehab. But the fact that anybody is talking about TNA and Jeff Hardy still says that you're not doing it right.
Yeah, because the Hardys refused to go to rehab.
Yeah, and for that matter, the company should have said, bye.
Bye-bye.
Peace out. Because for everything that this has created, as far as
driving his car into a fucking tree before they told him that.
There was a lot of people who were frustrated with the wellness policy within the business because it kind of came out around the same time that a lot of people got named for doing things they shouldn't have been doing. But what has it done for the company, for WWE as a whole? It's made them a respectable business that gives you an expected, outcome to what you put in, because they can promise that their talent will be there and that their talent won't be doped out of their mind.
I don't give a shit what you want to say about John Cena. John Cena shows up every night.
Yeah, and
wrestles matches clean every night without doing drugs.
Yeah. And can you honestly say that about some of the people who have been at the top of the TNA card?
I mean, your main event situation is a fucking disgrace. Your attempts at bringing back the X Division are idiotic.
Well, look at who's been in the main event picture. It's been Sting, Hardy, RVD, Angle, and Anderson. And that's it. It's been those 5 for like the last 2 years.
Yeah, and who can't even keep track of who the title is on? And for that matter, it was funny. We were talking about, mentioned in our last video, how many, that we haven't seen very many turns lately in WWE. Jesus Christ, TNA, will you stop fucking turning people? I can't keep up with it.
There's a reason they call it the TNA spin cycle, by the way.
Anderson is the Tweenosaurus. I don't know what's going on with it every fucking day. He's like, it's like he's got multiple personality disorder. I want to hit them with a chair. No, I have to be noble. No, I want to hit them with a chair.
He's got more multiple personality problems than Abyss. Who's supposed to have multiple personality problems?
He's the Smeagol of TNA. Like, he's got 2 different sides of him telling him different things to do. And
then how many times is Kurt Angle going to turn? Jesus. For a main eventer to turn as many times as he has in the last 5 years, it's... What am I supposed to do as a fan? Am I supposed to... because part of turning people is... on the superficial level, to get fans to like or hate. But if you constantly turning characters, you wind up with this mediocre hodgepodge of cheering and hating, and you just come off with a lack of interest and apathy for what's going on.
For a company that used to pride itself on doing things new and different and giving you matches that have never been put on before, like Ankle Joe, for example,
or the triple threat for the X title with Joe Styles Daniels.
Yeah. You hear one, I believe, and I'm not sure this has been confirmed, but it's at the very least been rumored, one of the Bound for Glory matches. Bound for Glory is coming up not too far from now. Mm-hmm. And you know what they're going to do? One of the matches they're going to do the card? Innovative, never been done before. RVD and Jerry Lynn.
No way.
Nah.
Because that wasn't done on Impact like 2 months ago.
Not to mention 15 years ago.
You're not contributing in any way.
10 years ago, I should say.
You're not contributing to the business in any way, and quite frankly, you are spitting on those that have walked before you. You're taking it for granted, and you're running it into the ground. And
you make me sick.
You're now making wrestling look bad worse than WWE has. Yeah. And WWE, for a while, was making wrestling look pretty bad. But now, I don't really feel like they make things look bad.
I feel like
if
CM Punk weren't around, they might be, but, whatever. They've got their guy.
They've created a product, and they're sticking to their guns.
You don't have one of those. You're screwed.
Yeah.
You suck. I hate you. You make me physically ill.
So, TNA. In conclusion...
I'm trying to think of other things to... fuck off and die. Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries. I don't like you. I strongly dislike you, I must say. Just
Just follow me on Twitter at EJ Kaboom.